Question 1. What are the 5 steps in the conversation process and what happens in each step? So the first step is opening, and this is to open the conversation, which it usually is a greeting, and it's a message that establishes a connection between two people and opens up the channels for more meaningful interaction. These can be verbal or nonverbal. The second step is feed forward, and this gives the other person a general idea of the conversation's focus, and it may also identify the tone of the conversation. The third step is business. It is the substance or focus of the conversation. In this one, you converse to fulfill one or several of the general purpose of interpersonal communication. The fourth step is feedback, which is the reverse of the second step, feed forward. Here you generally reflect back on the conversation to signal that the business is completed. And the fifth and final step is closing, which is opposite of the first step, opening, and this is where you say goodbye and you often reveal how satisfied the participants were with the conversation. Question 2. What is the difference between dialogue and monologue? So in dialogue, each person in the conversation is both a speaker and a listener, and the sender and receiver. It's a type of conversation in which there's a deep concern for the other person and for the relationship between the two, so you're pretty much going to be careful about what you say because you're aware of the other person and you don't want to hurt their feelings or anything. The objective of dialogue is mutual understanding, supportiveness, and empathy. There is respect for the other person simply because this person is a human being and therefore deserves to be treated honestly and sincere. So even if you don't like the person you're in a conversation with, in dialogue you're gonna treat them with respect because they're a human being. Okay, in monologue, it's communication in which one person speaks and the other listens. There's no real interaction between the participants, and the speaker, the communicator is focused only on his or her goals and has no real concern for the listener's feelings or attitudes. The speaker is interested in the other person only so far that the person can serve his or her purposes. So monologue, you're only concerned about yourself and you're just going to speak your mind whether you hurt the other person or not. Question 3. What are the 6 maxims of politeness, and provide a brief description of each? Okay, so there's the maxim of tact, which helps to maintain the other's autonomy. The tact in the relationship would mean that you do not impose on others or challenge their right to do as they wish. And then there's the maxim of generosity, which helps to confirm the other person's importance, the importance of the person's time, insight, or talent. And then there's the maxim of approbation, which refers to praising someone or complimenting the person in some way. And then the maxim of modesty, which minimizes any praise or compliment you might receive. At the same time, you might praise or compliment the other person. The maxim of agreement refers to your seeking out areas of agreement and expressing them. And then the 6th and final one is the maxim of sympathy, which refers to the expression of understanding, sympathy, empathy, supportiveness, and the like for the other person. Question 4. How do you answer the interpersonal choice point on page 183 of your text? Okay, so this says, your teenage nephew seems on edge and you think he needs to talk about what's on his mind. You want to encourage greater disclosure but don't want to seem pushy or nosy. How might you begin a conversation that encourages your nephew to self-disclose? Okay, so I thought that maybe if you took him, somewhere to an environment that kind of feels safe and you're the only person there with him and eliminate all the other people so it's just you two. And then, I was thinking maybe if he doesn't want to self-disclose, maybe he doesn't trust you enough to bring it up to you. So I thought maybe something that would be good to get him comfortable is maybe if, I say something, disclose something about myself that I'm really not comfortable sharing, then maybe he'll be like, oh, she told me something personal, so I can tell her and then she won't tell anybody else, and then maybe it'll make him comfortable enough so that maybe he'll talk. Question 5. Complete the test yourself activity on page 186 of your text. Provide your answers for how did you do and what will you do. Okay, so for how did I do? I got mostly A responses, which means that I indicate some level of dissatisfaction and discomfort with the experience of small talk. And yeah, I kind of am uncomfortable in small talk. I don't really know what to say always. Yeah. And then what will I do? Well, I don't know. I'm uncomfortable because I don't always know what to say, but I always have stuff like come up in my head that I think would be a good idea to say, but then I like talk myself out of it before the words actually come out of my mouth, so therefore I end up not even saying anything at all. And I think that maybe if I wouldn't question myself so much, and if I would just say what comes to my mind, then maybe it would boost my confidence in small talk and I would become better at it.